Hey, Coach, I'm so excited you found us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe down below. Hit the bell up above. That will take care of everything you need. Also, make sure you go down below and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you're looking for resources, if you're looking for a one-stop shop, if you're looking for everything that will make you a better basketball coach, you can find it down below at teachhoops.com. Have a great day.
All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops.
Youth Hoops.
It is. Yep.
Back again.
Didn't
kick us off the air after the last few. We went on a couple tangents. Thank you guys for listening.
Appreciate all your comments. If you're listening and you like this, leave a review. Apple is the best. If you leave it's a nice review, we'll read it off. We'll shout you out. Hey, Coach, we got to talk about that too at some point. I think the two of us should have some youth coaches on at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you think?
Yeah, and we interview a few or do. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think
that would be an interesting interview process.
Yeah, I have one coming up that the one I need to send you, right? Actually, from your part of the world in Sparta. Great coach. I had a great conversation with him the other day.
What I think is it would be interesting to do a three person podcast.
I do too. Yeah.
I have never done. I'm always looking for new adventures.
Well, here we go. If you want to be on the podcast, leave a review, and we'll pick one of you to be on the next podcast. Done. And here's another thing. I don't know. Hey, can you do this? If we leave a podcast, we'll randomly pick someone. I'll give them a free practice plan.
Sure. Done.
Let's do it. You heard it here.
All right. And that's a lead in to basketballpracticeplans.com, which is where all of you should be heading. Right, Coach? That's right.
Get your season started off. Kickstart your practice planning. All practices done for you. Your offense, defense, press breaks, everything you need for a full season, all planned out, progressive from day one to the last day of practice. Stop hunting Google and going on YouTube for random stuff. I strung together everything you need to move the kids along and get them better throughout your entire season. Very inexpensive, $29 for 24 plans. You'll spend a lot more time.
Mic drop, $29. I keep telling him to raise prices. I'm just telling you.
I'm going to.
There's this little voice over here saying you put too much work into this. Raise prices. I'm just telling you. And then also go over and check out coachingyouthhoops.com, the one-stop shop for youth basketball coaches. I was just telling Coach I've got all this stuff that I've got ideas and things. And anyway, go over and check it out. I think by the time this one's will be launched. If not, there'll be a waiting list over there for you. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to launch, but anyway.
All right. One more shout out too. I'm sorry. Were you done?
No, I was done. Go ahead.
Okay.
He can step on my free my free ad there. But go ahead. You can step on my feet, Coach.
I didn't mean to do that. I thought you were done. Basketball coaches clinics or clinic.basketball. Let me start over. Basketballcoachesclinic.com.
Oops. One more time, Coach.
Basketballcoachesclinic.com. Go sign up for a coaching clinic that I'm doing. These are a little bit different than the podcast. It's very focused on a particular subject. It'll be whiteboard, slides, the whole Zoom kind of presentation. Give you a leg up on your maybe a part that you're not that great at. We have all the way through the month of October of 2022, every Wednesday, we're doing a clinic. Only 1 hour on Zoom, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
All right. That sounds like it sounds like a deal to me. All right.
Dude, we got so much stuff going on. This is awesome. I mean, youth. I mean, again, what's our mission? 1 million kids.
1 million athletes.
That's right. Let's get them leveled up. And did I say that? That's another pitch. If you're local, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh God, don't start selling. Hey, I'm doing math tutoring. If you want to come over and you live, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, no, we're done. We're going to talk coaching youth hoops now. So what's the topic this week?
We are talking about tips to get more done in practice in less time and boost learning. I think that's really the key.
I think this is important, and it goes back to talking to Coach about in Melbourne about a lot of his coaches only have once a week.
One practice
a week.
Yeah, one 60-minute practice a week. I surveyed coaches the other day. A lot have 2 60-minute practices in a week.
Well, the thing with Jamie in Melbourne is he can't find gym space.
Yeah, exactly. That's
you can't find. I mean, this is, and you know anything about Australia? Everyone lives on the outside of Australia, so there's a lot of people. Like 5 million people live in Melbourne, but it's like you can't find gym space.
Yeah, they got to build more gyms down there. All right, let's talk about a few tips to get more done. I mean, I think one of the first one I'll say is you have to have a master plan. And again, it doesn't have to be in depth, but you have to have an idea of what you want to accomplish by the end of the season, and just jot some things down so you stay somewhat organized. What do you got?
No, I mean, I definitely. So it's similar to, so imagine me teaching algebra 2 or algebra. I'll pick algebra because everyone probably is taking algebra.
Yeah.
So I only get them once a week, and I got to teach them algebra in 6 months or a year. Well, if I don't have a plan, I'm not gonna be, I mean, I can teach algebra, but I might teach this little piece over here, and then this little piece over here, and then this little there's. So I think the key to the planning is you don't want it for another Wisconsinite. I don't want to drive to Green Bay via Milwaukee from Madison. Right?
That's right.
So anybody that's from Wisconsin knows you want a direct route. Well, it's the same thing when you're teaching something. You want a direct route. If you don't map it out, you're not going to have that direct route. And it was like I was telling you with my high school coaches, we're gonna do a retreat soon. We're gonna map out the season. Now, will that map change? Absolutely, probably after 3 weeks. But we know when we need everything in. We know when we need to teach what, and especially only once a week. Man, if you're gonna play these games, what skills do you need to work on? What do you need to have so your kids can be effective? I think that's the key, is you want them to just be effective.
That's right. And when you're in practice, I time everything. I have this little clock that I bring along, and I'm looking at it, so I'm moving along, so I don't stay on one drill too long.
I stop.
Right. So just stop. Right. And if they're not getting it, that's on me. I go back the next time, rethink how I'm teaching that, and then introduce it again, because I'm going to take that on as I'm not teaching it correctly. That's the reason they're not getting it. I might be saying too much. I might have 3 or 4 things that they're focused on because I think they can do it. Just focus on the one thing, teach it, and then move on. I would say I always keep my drills, 5 minutes if I'm focusing on that one thing, and then I move on to the next.
And at the youth level, when I got a 60-minute, I try to leave a chunk at the end for some fun, quote unquote,
scrimmage or whatever games or whatever you're doing.
But I will even, I keep my high school ones to 5 to 6 minutes. So at the youth level, once they knew what we wanted to do, it would be like 3 or 4 minutes and we're out. We're fast. It's like, I refer to it as a machine gun practice. I want machine gun practices. I want, it's the way I play Call of Duty. That I'm not very good. Seriously. I mean, my son laughs at me. It's like, I just spray because I'm not very good. Like, I don't play enough Call of Duty anymore that I'm any good at it. So it's similar in the practice planning thing, is that I want to just do short. From a teacher, from an educator, from someone that's done it long. We recently in AP Stats, I didn't teach something right, and they didn't get it, and I know they didn't get it. I'm not gonna punish it. It was my fault. Like I didn't convey it to them right. Well, I graded their tests. It's like I'm not gonna, like, everyone got this. It's like I didn't do that. That's me. Like if everyone's getting this, that's me. But it's the same thing with a drill. Maybe 2/3 of them aren't getting it. Just move on. If I have more than once started a drill and just stopped 2 minutes in, like this ain't working. Next, like it's just not working. Like
in Oregon.
I'll go back to the drawing board at night and try to figure out what I was doing or what I wasn't conveying to them, but I wasn't teaching them the proper way of doing it or whatever skill we were working on. So cut your losses is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Cut your losses. I think another one is have your foundation drills. So you're not teaching a new drill every practice, but make sure those foundation drills have progressions and constraints. So simple progression might be 1 versus 0, 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3. So it progresses, and a constraint might be 3 versus 3, no dribble. But it's the same drill. So if you call, let's say, I don't know, make something up, Iowa, you say, we're going to do the drill Iowa. Day 1, you teach it, right? And then you come back, let's say your next practice. We're running Iowa with 3 dribbles, right? And then next is we're running Iowa with 3-on-3, no dribble. It's the same thing. You don't have to reteach the basics.
Yep. And so the progression too is here's a teaching point too with that. Let's say you're teaching a new offense or defense. Let's say you're teaching 2-3 zone. Shouldn't be doing that to youth level anyway, but I'm just picking it for the sake of argument. So you should teach it, but then you should keep circling back to some of the skill sets over time, because the Iowa drill, which is a made up drill, there's no such thing probably that the coach is talking about. But day 4 of that Iowa drill, they might have forgotten that they needed to do X, Y, and Z in the Iowa drill. So you should keep circling back to skills that you really want them. Again, it's a teaching thing that you really want them to be good at. So I'm gonna geek out on stats here, but we use SOX, shape, outlier, center, spread when we talk about data. I've literally anyone that's taking my class right now can tell you what SOX are. Not what you wear, but SOCS, shape, outlier, center, spread. Because that's what and I just keep circling back to it. It's the same thing with specific fundamental things. Don't assume the 5th grader got it the first time you did it.
That's right.
Keep circling. And then eventually there'll be a point where they'll tell you what it is. And then check, move on. That one's good. We can move from that.
Well, and not only that they might not have gotten it, Johnny missed the practice. He's a youth player, right? So you got to circle back
because Johnny's sister got chicken pox and he couldn't come.
Yeah, whatever it might be, right? So yeah, that's the hard thing, right? You're gonna have to recircle. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Coach?
Well, I'll tell you something I'm testing this year, and I'd love to get your feedback. Now, I am testing it in high school, the water break, how to incorporate the water break. So what I found is I've always had, you work them out, they do their thing, they're working hard, you have a minute water break. Literally set it on a timer. It doesn't take a minute. By the time they get off the court, right now, I can call them back in a minute, but then to get refocused and regrouped, it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes lost, right? Yep. And that's precious on a 60-minute clock. So I say, have your water bottle nearby when you're, potentially waiting in line or whatever. Just go have a quick sip.
Never in 35 years of coaching, I've never done a water break once.
Oh, there we go. There you go.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like, so I was ready for COVID when COVID hit, because I buy Gatorade bottles. I label them. I put their name on them, their number on them. If someone is caught drinking out of someone else's water bottle, that's like one of my pet peeves, because I literally do not want the flu to go around my team. I did it from several things, saving time and illness, because we coach in the winter in Wisconsin. Right. Everything's going around. So again, I'm teaching, 15 to 18-year-olds. I say, when you need a water break, go get a water break. You need to fill your water bottle? Go fill your water bottle. I'm not going to, you find the right time to do that. I'm not going to you can't jump out of the middle of a drill to go do it, but any other time, go right ahead. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like bathroom passes. I hate bathroom classes as a teacher. I teach 18-year-olds. Go to the bathroom, get up and go to the bathroom, then come back when you're done. Yeah. What? Anyway, so yes, I 100% agree. Have them here for the youth coaches. Have a mom or dad go buy 12 Gatorade bottles. seriously, or whatever. And then that could be a great team bonding thing for a fourth grade.
Put their name on them.
Put their name. You could go to get pizza and let them label their own and buy a bunch of stuff at Hobby Lobby or whatever and label it and do what you got to do. They love that. Done. Perfect.
Here's another one I'm going to give you before we go. This is, I think, maybe this is because of the lesson I learned. Keep your discussions to a timeout length, 15 to 30 seconds max, right? Because if you talk longer than that, you're teaching too much and you're going to overload them anyway, and they're not going to retain it. So talk in small chunks, go do. And then, again, one thing, come back after that one thing is done, and then do the next stage of that drill.
So long chunks I tend to do on a side. So I usually keep most of mine to like 15 seconds unless it's something huge. But the other one is so let's say I'll have more than most of the youth coaches will have, but if I have 12 people, I'll grab that person I got to talk to on the side. And then if we have to have a deep conversation, like, hey, here's the board, here's what you're not doing. I don't need to do that. Unless it's really, really bad, I'll never stop.
Right. Unless everybody's having that issue. Right.
Yeah. And that sometimes happens. Like this. All right, Coach,
I'll give you one more. One more.
All right.
I think is really important. So small-sided games. Work in your small-sided games because you can work on offense and defense. Yeah. And again, take that stupid example of the Iowa drill. You can put defense against it. And then on the Iowa drill, focus on either an offense or defense or a concept within the offense. Perfect example is this. We were actually working on our offense, but we were doing it in a live situation. I was getting so frustrated. We were playing to 10 and counting 2s and 3s, and first 1 to 10 wins. And I wanted them to do power layups, and they were not doing power layups on their finishes when they're under distress. Okay. So I said, okay, that's what you make a power layup. You get 5 points. All they had to do is make 2 power layups in that drill and they win the game. Guess what happened next? 2 power layups, game over.
Yes. Right? Whatever you want them to do, emphasize it.
And give points to it in your game.
So often we'll start practice with a 5-on-5 drill. And usually I'll have a knockout thing. Like if you take a charge, your team wins. If you
I like that.
Do something like that, I'll have a specific thing. Whatever
it is. Loser do?
The loser does 5 push. I mean, there's always a consequence. It's not doesn't have to be like whatever. It's like sometimes I'll have them go say, like, you have to go say something nice about the opponent. That's really hard.
I like that too.
Ooh, I love that one. And it's like, well, you have nice hair. I go, no, you're describing them. Say something nice about them, like a character. So great discussions on that. Usually I don't do that one unless it's at the end of practice, but usually it's like a down and back or one-handed push-up or 3 sit-ups, or again, it depends on the day. If it's before a big game, I don't have them do push-ups because I don't really want them. I'll have them do sit-ups or something like that. So I'm always reading it, but I always have a KO. Most drills I'll have a KO where you win. You automatically win.
That's a good idea. Great idea. I'm going to implement that.
Thanks. All right. We're going to end with that then, Coach. Till next week.
Let's end with it.
All right.
The next week.
All right. Bye.
Hey, Coach. So glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like, and go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.